Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, on the 20th of June 2002, the ILO adopted the protocol to implement the provision of Articles 4 and 11 in the Occupational Safety and Health Convention 1981. Fiji ratified this convention 20th of May 2008. Mr. Speaker, sir, this particular protocol of 2002 to the Occupational Safety and Health Convention 1981, if Fiji ratifies it, of course it will bring us in compliance with not just international standards and international recognition, but also, Mr. Speaker, sir, give substance, or I should say complement, the already existing provisions in the Fijian Constitution. Under Section 20, Mr. Speaker, sir, of the Fijian Constitution and the Bill of Rights, every person has the right to fair employment practices, including humane treatment and proper working conditions. Mr. Speaker, sir, of course, the provisions in this particular conventions, which I'm sure the Minister of Employment and other ministers will speak on, does ensure that we have to be able to put in place various mechanisms and the laws that we comply with the various provisions of the Constitution, of the Convention, including, of course, Mr. Speaker, the various provisions pertaining to the injuries and the nature of injuries, the workplaces, the circumstances of the accident or the dangerous occurrence in the case of occupational diseases, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, the ratification of the protocol will also further strengthen Fiji's national laws and policies, some of which include the Employment Relations Act, as we discussed earlier on, the Health and Safety at Work Act, Health and Safety at Work, Control of Hazardous Substance Regulations 2006, Health and Safety at Work Diving Regulations, Health and Safety at Work Administration Regulations, and of course, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Accident Compensation Regulation 2018, which I would like to very briefly touch upon, Mr. Speaker, sir. The ACCF was set up, Mr. Speaker, sir, by the government to ensure, firstly, to address the issue of third-party insurance. In other words, those people who got, died on the roads or actually got injured on the roads. And then, Mr. Speaker, sir, we extended the scope of ACCF to include what was known as workmen's compensation. Mr. Speaker, sir, today in Fiji now, as the law stands, we have what we call a no-fault provision. So in other words, people who get injured at workplace can go through a very seamless process. There's no fault provision where there's no fault attributed to the person who's injured, and without necessarily the aid of lawyers, etc., can get access to compensation through workplace injuries. It also, Mr. Speaker, sir, provides or ensures that many of the employers who previously actually had to engage the services of private sector insurance companies to have workers' compensation insurance, Mr. Speaker, sir, no longer actually have to. And therefore, even if you work for a small company, even if a company does not earn much money or have much revenue, you are still protected as a worker. And this convention, of course, Mr. Speaker, sir, gives substance to that. With those introductory remarks, Mr. Speaker, sir, I urge members to support this particular convention.
Honourable members, the floor is open for debate on this motion.